Well, it's another beautiful day for baseball. 85 degrees, slight wind out of the south, blowing out of the ballpark out to straightaway center field here at Wilson Park, Nashville, Arkansas. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Badger Baseball. Playoffs continue for the Badgers. They were victorious a week ago in Malvern at the South Regional, and back here as a number one seed in the state tournament. Actually got a bye yesterday, and they'll play today the Valley View Blazers, who beat the Farmington Cardinals yesterday to advance to this second round game. Joining me is Chris Babb, and it is a great feeling to be in the postseason. Once again, Arkadelphia donning the green hats. We get it everywhere we go. What about the green hats? I think if you've listened to our broadcast, you know all about the green hats, but all it means is one thing, and that is that the Badgers are still winning.
That's right, and this is kind of where the green hat mystique, or whatever you want to call it, kind of took form. I remember in this exact spot where we're broadcasting, in the post-game interview with Coach Lowe, you said, Coach Lowe, I bet those green caps aren't going anywhere, are they? And he said no, and they have not. They've made their way back to Nashville for the quarterfinals of the 4A state tournament. You see the bracket there on your screen. Yesterday was the first round. Shiloh Christian got a huge 11-run bottom of the fifth inning to defeat Fountain Lake yesterday 15-5. So they were trailing going into the fifth and scored 11 to run rule Fountain Lake. The next game, Valley View and Farmington, that score looks deceiving, but it's the exact same situation as game one. Going into the bottom of the sixth inning, Farmington led Valley View 3-2, and Valley View used a lot of walks and a few hits to score 13 runs to walk off Farmington 15-3. Yesterday afternoon, Robinson got a run rule victory over Monticello 15-0, and Harrison defeated Star City 14-6. Earlier today, it's not on your screen, but Shiloh Christian defeated Lone Oak 4-0. Anderson, the pitcher for Shiloh Christian, took a perfect game into the seventh inning before Lone Oak led off with a single, but they couldn't do anything. So the winner of this game between Arkadelphia and Valley View will face Lone Oak tomorrow at noon in the state semifinals. On the bottom half, after our game, Huntsville will play Robinson, and then later this evening, Pulaski Academy will play Harrison.
You've got a lot of different talented players in this tournament, one of which we're going to see on the mound today. Two we're going to see on the mound today. One, the junior from Arkadelphia, Trip Campbell, and then we're going to see Slade Caldwell, who's actually a sophomore, but is a commit to the Ole Miss Rebels. Pitched threw a few pitches yesterday, and I know that you were here to watch that, Chris. I think he didn't get the start yesterday, but he did come in and throw about 20-some-odd pitches in relief. And the guys that were here think they can hit him.
Yeah, Slade Caldwell, a lefty, a little bit shorter, started in center field, committed to Ole Miss as a center fielder. Yesterday came in relief in that sixth inning through 23 to 25 pitches, so he's got his full allotment. You take the starting lineup there for Valley View. Caldwell will pitch and lead off. Grayson Becker, Lawson Ward. Tyler Hoskins also is a good pitcher, but is returning from injury, so he's a DH. Preston Watlington, Cooper Lutz, Carter Salisbury, Carson Turley, and Jackson Stotts the rest of the way for the Valley View Blazers. Defensive lineup for Arkadelphia. You mentioned Trip Campbell will be on the mound. Left to right in the outfield. Jarrett Bell gets a start at left field. Carter Babb in center field. Ryan Harris in right field. Left to right around the infield. Win Pentecost at third base. Tate Goodrum gets the start at short. Donovan Whitten at second base. Tucker Johnson at first. And Zane Hill behind the mound. Well, Blake, we are about ready for some state championship baseball, and it's an exciting atmosphere. There are green caps on the mound. We thought we were going to be over on the third base dugout where Arkadelphia is, and so we might be able to get a good shot of our fans, because there are some fans who have decked out in the green as well, kind of embraced it. Never thought that 2 months after the start of the green caps they would be back, and yes, they have drawn questions like what in the world is going on. But regardless, we're here ready for the quarterfinal round of the 4A state playoffs. A big number, as you mentioned, a number of the players came yesterday to check out the Farmington Valley View game. That game was 3-2. Valley View did not have very many hits until that last inning. Farmington's starting pitcher did a great job keeping Valley View off balance, but they did end up busting through in that bottom of the 6th inning.
So if you're not real familiar with where Valley View is, Craighead County, right outside of Jonesboro. It is a 7th through 12th grade only school. They're actually a 5A school in football and baseball, and they are a public school. They're not a private school. They are a public school, and so that's where they're 95 years old. You know, I had no idea that Valley View is as old a school as they are, but they are. Have an enrollment of about 500 students in grades 7 through 12, and they are a baseball powerhouse.
Yep. 2021 state champions, Class 4A. They are the defending Class 4A state champions, located just on the outskirts of Jonesboro. So these guys are going to live in Jonesboro. There's a Valley View up there, and what you mentioned, 5A in football, 4A in basketball and baseball. Jonesboro West Side, not very far from Valley View, also there in Jonesboro. So inside in Jonesboro city limits, and they are baseball rich in tradition and talent, as you mentioned.
They are. They also won the state championship back in 2008 and 2009. So a lot of tradition going. The Valley View Blazers, not exactly sure what a blazer is. Maybe it's a fire-breathing dragon. Maybe it's a sport coat. I'm not real sure, but I hope we get the latter in the game today.
Yep. Slade Caldwell's going to start things off. He had the walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 6th inning yesterday. To that point, the Farmington starter had kept him off balance, but he's going to try to set the tone here. He is a sophomore, very talented player, try to set the tone lefty on lefty to get us started.
Campbell, the junior left-hander for Arkadelphia, delivers pitch number 1, and it is right down Broadway. Badgers wearing their blue tops, white bottoms, and the signature green lids. Valley View in the gray, tops and bottom, trimmed in gold and blue. Strike 2 to Caldwell.
Caldwell did get called out on strikes yesterday, also had a number back to the field, but he does have opposite field power as his grand slam went over the 330 sign in left center.
We're artificial turf in the infield, natural grass in the outfield. Here's the 0-2, and wow, that was real close to take, and Campbell was
Subway sandwich from getting that first out of the game.
Boy, he was.
That's a good spot on an 0-2 pitch, good discipline by Caldwell not to go after that. Zane was set up a little bit outside. Campbell hit his target.
Here's Tripp, the 1-2, and it's popped out in the air to left field. Heading back and going back, it's Bell, and he's not going to get there. It's to the base of the wall, going into second base with a stand-up double to start the game is Slade Caldwell.
There's that opposite field power. The ball got up yesterday. It's where his home run went. Ball got up in the air. Bell tracked it down, just couldn't quite get the glove on it, and Caldwell gets things going for the Blazers early.
That ball didn't look like it had as much pop coming off the bat as it did, but it's traveled very well. Wind is, if the wind's blowing at all, it's going to be blowing 5 to 7 miles per hour, and it's going to be blowing straight out to center field. So not that got a lot of help from the wind, but had a lot of pop under it. Grayson Becker now, the senior center fielder. 2 Beckers in the lineup today. One will be playing third base, a sophomore. Maybe a little brother. He's not in the batting lineup, but he is playing third base.
This is the next pitcher in the Valley View lineup. If Caldwell had gone over his 30, the expectation was that we would see this starter, but Caldwell didn't go yesterday, and so this is the Slade Caldwell game. Nice bunt down there down the left foul third base line, but Pentecost, thankfully for that one for Arkadelphia, that one rolled foul.
Nice play there by Wynn to let that one roll foul. Also going to kind of give you a tendency as to the slope of that for the rest of the ball game. Runner at second base is the leadoff hitter Caldwell. He doubled off the left field wall to start things here in the top of the first. Arkadelphia Valley View, second round state tournament. Here's the pitch. Again, he squares to bunt. Ball sails outside for ball 1.
You know, Valley View didn't have much going offensively for the first 5 innings yesterday before they had that big explosion. A lot of times if you're the opponent, you're wondering, do they carry that over? Caldwell got them started early. Be key for Campbell to bounce back here and Arkadelphia to be able to get an out. You don't want them to carry that momentum from that last inning on into today's game.
Here's the 1-1 again. He squares. That one's going to bounce right at the plate for ball 2. Get the bat back. 345 straightaway center, 330 in the alleys, 315 down the right and left field lines. Diamond Bank Field here at Wilson Park. Gracious host, Nashville Scrappers. Coach Slayton and his Scrappers putting on a very nice event. There's a bunt that's going to be laid down perfectly, and it's going to get the runner to third. No throw is taking off the mound to the right goes Campbell, but he's not able to get to it in time, and so runners at the corners with nobody out. And Lawson Ward, the catcher, will bat.
Yeah, Pentecost was playing back, and so he was not going to be able to make that play, and that was well put bunt from Becker. Campbell not able to make that play either.
Arkadelphia not going to see a lot. Don't see a lot of small ball during the regular season. Most of the 7-4A are hitting teams. Not a lot of small ball. There's one that's going to get through the left side, and it's going to take the runner all the way to third base from first. And a single for Ward is the first RBI of the game.
Yeah, it was a hit-and-run situation. Becker was off with the pitch. Goodrum was had gone to cover the bag, and that found the big hole on the left side. And since he was off on the run, Becker was able to get to third. And so now first and third, nobody out.
So Arkadelphia in some unfamiliar territory, especially with Trip Campbell on the mound. Campbell's just been fantastic on the mound all year for Arkadelphia. He's 8-0. He's got 1 save in 9 appearances. Tyler Hoskins now, the junior designated hitter batting in the cleanup spot, will step to the right with runners at the corners and already a one-run lead.
See if they send the runner on the pitch.
And they do not.
Like to remind fans, state tournament t-shirts still on sale. State tournament t-shirts for $20. The t-shirt table is south of the press box, adjacent to the men's restroom.
1 ball, no strikes to Hoskins. There goes the runner to second. He's going to draw the throw, and it gets away, and the runner now going to go home. There's a throw that's way over the head of the catcher. It's going to go to the wall, to the backstop, and the runner is all the way to third base now.
Yep, few first inning jitters for Arkadelphia. Coach Lowe steps out and calms the troops, but Donovan just kind of took his eye off of that one, let it go. It went off the tip of his glove, and then the double clutch was not going to be able to get the runner, and then the double clutch and the overthrow allowed the runner to go to third. So
still nobody out here in the top of the first. 2-0, a runner at third base, and Hoskins at the plate. And he's going to hit that one foul out of play back over to the right side. Count even now at a ball and a strike.
You got 3 batters, 3 base hits. You had the double, the bunt single, and then the seeing eye single on the hit and run.
Here's the 1-1, or the 1-2, just missing, and again, very patient at the plate. The Valley View hitter so far here in this first inning. Runner at third base is Ward. He reached on a single. Drove in the first run of the game for Valley View. And then the overthrow brought in the second run.
It was a good take by Hoskins on that 2-2 breaking ball. Nice pitch by Campbell trying to get Hoskins to offer, but he did hold up his swing to run the count full.
First 3-2 count of the game, and it's taken for ball 4. So Hoskins draws the walk. So 4 batters to the plate and 4 runners on base. First walk of the game. Preston Watlington now, he's the second baseman, a senior, will bat 5th with 2 runners on at the corners for Valley View. Pentecost is in on the edge of the grass at third. Tucker holding the runner on at first. Double play depth up the middle. There goes the runner. He's got him throwing behind him. The throw is not going to be in time as the relay throw from Tucker Johnson to the shortstop is not in time, so the runner does get second base, and Chris Arkadelphia is going to have to turn it up a notch. They're just they're a little sluggish right now. They're not zipping the ball around. They're not being very precise, so it's going to have a short learning curve here.
Yeah, short learning curve for sure.
Valley View is going to make them pay. Valley View's already got a game under their belt, and like you said, a big scoring output yesterday, and Farmington a very, very good baseball team.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, but you worry about that big last inning that got the kind of serves the purpose of awakening a sleeping monster, and that seems to be what that last inning did for Valley View. They've carried it over. Arkadelphia needs to do what it can to hold this to 2 or 3 runs.
So the bunt, the bunt is laid down. Coming charging in is Pentecost. Had one play, and that was to first base. He gets the out. The run does score, so now it's 3-0, and the runner moves to third base. And so now with 1 out, that fielder's choice, the only out of the ball game so far. Cooper Lutz now, he is another senior first baseman. He'll bat from the left side.
Yeah, when you have second and third with nobody out, and you force the defense to make a play, you can put the bunt down almost anywhere you want. You're glad to sacrifice an out for a run this early in the game that gets a 3 on the board for Valley View.
First pitch is fouled off. Here's the 0-1, and it's taken for ball 1, a little high and outside. Ball and a strike now to Lutz. Winner, again, will face Shiloh Christian tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon right here in Nashville. Here's the 1-1. And it's down low for ball 2. Really need a pop-up, a pop-up or something in the infield to try to keep that run from scoring from third. Here's the 2-1. And Lutz is going to, look like it hit him in the box.
The wind picked up. You can probably hear it through our microphone. The wind picked up and is blowing out. Not very strong. Definitely not as strong as it was last time we were here, and the roof was banging, but still has picked up just a little bit.
Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. There's a strikeout. That's exactly what Arkadelphia needed. They'll look the runner back at third. And so now with 2 outs, Carter Salisbury is a junior right fielder. He'll bat 7th in the lineup. So now with 2 outs, that runner at third, not quite as much of a threat as it was just a second ago. Campbell dealing low, ball 1. .43 2/3 innings pitched for Campbell coming into today. Another ball low. Looked close. Didn't get the call. 2 balls, no strikes. There's a ball outside. just about as efficient as a pitcher can get. He's got 9 appearances this year. 8 of them were wins. 1 of them was a save. There's a 3-0. It's high. For ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Salisbury. It's his second walk of the game. Carson Turley now, sophomore left fielder, will come up with 2 outs and 2 runners on the corners here for Valley View.
Turley, the 8th batter in the lineup, so the 9-hole batter is on deck, and then it would go back to Caldwell. Obviously, Arkadelphia in this spot really would like to strand these 2 runners on base and not let that 4th run score.
Turley takes ball 1 low in the artificial dirt. Arkadelphia able to utilize some work at Henderson State thanks to Coach Hooten. And there's another throw over to first base. They had him picked again, and he'll get into second base, not drawing a throw. So now runners at second and third, and a base hit would certainly be trouble for Arkadelphia. 1 ball, no strike. Back to the windup is Campbell. Popped up and out of play, foul. 2-1 the count.
You're at a spot now where anything to the outfield, the outfielders really at a point where you gotta do anything you can to go after a ball, be aggressive. Run's most likely going to score on a hit anyway. Making a gamble for a catch would be a big spot here.
That one's scalded foul down the right side. So now Campbell's worked himself ahead in the count. A ball and 2 strikes to Turley. With a couple of runners on for Valley View, already 3 across for the Blazers here in the top of the first. Arkadelphia is the home team, yet to bat. And that one fouled right back at the screen. Valley View not going to take a lot of walks. They're going to put the ball in play. They come to swing bats, and that's what they've done so far here in the top of the first. Ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and it is taken for strike 3. A nice comeback to strand 2, but 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors for Arkadelphia. Actually, there is 1 error for Arkadelphia, that overthrow.
Had a couple of misplays on throwing the ball down and back. So technically you're going to have 1 error. So 3 runs on 3 hits. There was 1 error. And so Arkadelphia now is going to have to get on Slade Caldwell, which is not an easy thing to do. You know, Arkadelphia came from behind in all 3 games it played in the regional tournament. 31 pitches for Trip Campbell in that first inning. They just make the announcement, not what he wanted. But Arkadelphia has come from behind, but against a team like Valley View, you can't afford to come from behind from too big of a deficit. And then you definitely can't allow another inning like what the Blazers just put together.
Well, Arkadelphia definitely knows how to swing the bats as well. Tate Goodrum, Carter Babb, and Trip Campbell will start things off here in the bottom of the first.
Caldwell showed a good breaking ball yesterday in the inning that he pitched against Farmington. Decent velocity. Didn't show that he had, speed that Arkadelphia had not seen. I think his effectiveness comes from location combined with velocity, and then also a great breaking ball.
He has a little bit of a snap delivery.
And with a 3-0 lead, he's probably going to feel like he can let loose a little bit more than he might have been yesterday in a 1-run game.
Yeah, he's definitely got a little bit of easiness with that 3-run lead. So very early on, but like you said, Arkadelphia's fought its way back from behind in all 3 of the regional games. Badgers definitely know how to work from behind. They also are a pretty good team at not giving up a lot of string of runs. You know, three runs is about all you're going to see that Arkadelphia has given up in an inning's time. We'll see if they can match the output.
They did give a second error on the board, probably on 2 on the same play from earlier. Yeah, you would like to, 3-0. If you don't end up scoring in this inning, it's not the end of the world, but you sure would like to go a little bit deeper into your lineup than a 3-up, 3-down. Tate Goodrum can try to get Arkadelphia off to a good start here.
Goodrum will lead things off as he has most of the year. He's batting .408, .527 on base average, so we'll see how things go here. In the bottom of the first, Arkadelphia down by 3, and the crowd's starting to get into it a little bit. There's the first one fouled off on top of the Arkadelphia dugout. Arkadelphia in the third base dugout, that is the home dugout here at Wilson Park. They are the home team, being the higher seed. Here's the 0-1 from the windup. It's hit on the air out to right field. The right fielder will take a couple of steps back and square it up for out number 1.
Playing Arkadelphia shallow in the outfield. Left fielder now will scoot back. Center fielder playing shallow and straight away. Left fielder playing really shallow.
Yeah,
they had that same lineup for Goodrum, just opposite with the left and the right fielder.
First pitch to Babb is high and outside. Third baseman is up in the grass, looking to take possible bunt away. Babb with a swing and a miss there. Count goes even, a ball and a strike. Babb hitting .328, .458 on base. And there's strike 2. Here's the 1-2. And it's going to be a base hit into left center field. So a 1-out hit for Carter Babb puts the Badgers on the base pass for the first time today. Nice piece of hitting there. He took it opposite field just a little.
Yeah, 1-2, breaking ball, went down with it, stayed with it, got the barrel on it, and just poked it just over the shortstop's head into left center field.
So here's Trip Campbell with a runner on now. Campbell leading the team in RBIs with 37. We'll see if they can get Carter a little closer to scoring territory. He's being held on by Lutz at first base. Third base is backed up just a little bit, about 2 steps behind the bag. There's ball 2.
Yeah, with the lefty on the mound, Carter's not getting a big lead at first base. He does have, I think, 11 or 12 stolen bases right behind Donovan Whitten, I believe, on the team, but not a huge lead for Babb. A little bit more now.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike now. Yeah, Babb's got 11 stolen bases. Coach Roop over at first base and in the box. That's a shot that's going to be into no man's land between first and second, and that's what you call a ground ball with eyes.
Yeah, no doubt. The first baseman, Lutz, was going back to the bag, and then he took one false step, and he kind of either slipped or stumbled. Otherwise, he was going to try to field that ball, and Caldwell was covering, but that was just pulled just enough for it to get in no man's land. Arkadelphia has a little something going, and Trip Campbell had a lot of hits last weekend in the regional. Several of them were just that, not hard hit balls, but to the right space, the right place to get people on base.
Here's Bell. He takes ball 1 low and inside. Babb at second. Campbell at first. 1 out. 3-0, but Badgers threatening here in the bottom of the first. Caldwell from the stretch now. Bell was swinging a miss out in front of that one just a bit. Ball and a strike now. (17 RBIs on the season for JB. Here's the 1-1. And it's hit into right field. That one's going to get foul, and it's not in time. A diving play out there by the right fielder, Salisbury, but not able to get there. Good effort, but just enough foul to give Jarrett another chance.
Boy, Salisbury made a nice run at that one. They're playing Bell pretty much straight up. The right fielder was playing straight up and really there's a lot of foul territory. It's outside your screen, but I'd say probably about 20 yards from foul line to fence, if not more. I think it's about that. So good effort by Salisbury there, just came up short.
1-2, he gets Bell swinging for the out. Back in behind Campbell at first, not in time, and Campbell a little shaken up, looks like. May have gotten that elbow a little bit, and that's his pitching arm as well, so we'll see.
The batter's the third baseman, number 7.
So a strikeout for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Lutz snuck in from behind, a snap throw down from Lawson Ward, and Campbell was able to dive in. He shakes Coach Roop at first and Coach Lowe off there in the red shirt to the left of your screen and says he's fine. So Wynn Pentecost comes up still with a runner in scoring position.
Badgers need to play to run here. Big swing and a miss at an outside tailing fastball. Good pitch there by Caldwell. Gets Wynn chasing.
And he started that one on the outer part of the plate, and it tailed away from the right-handed batter, and Pentecost couldn't do anything with that one. Now see if he comes back outside. Yeah, went to the same spot on the same pitch. Starts on that outer part of the plate and tails away. Catcher set up outside on that one, that 0-2. See where Ward sets up here on this one. See if they stay outside or try to get him coming back inside.
Caldwell trying to pitch himself out of a jam. The runners go, and there's a chopping ball to third base. That is in time, so 5-3 is the putout. Badgers leave a couple on the bases, and nobody home in the bottom of the first for Arkadelphia. Couple of hits, though. They do strand a couple. No errors for Valley View. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back to Wilson Park in Nashville after these words from Southwest Auto.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands. Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
We're back here to state tournament. Arkadelphia trailing 3-0 here after one inning of play. Trip Campbell goes back out for his second inning of work and a little banged up on a dive back into first base in the bottom of that inning. Seems to be favoring his pitching elbow just a little bit. We'll see if he's able to shake it off. Couple of singles, Carter Babb and Trip Campbell with singles in the first inning. Nothing to do as strikeout to Bell, and then Pentecost grounds to the third baseman to end the inning. 8 Blazers saw the plate in the first inning. Jackson Stotts, the senior shortstop, the number 9 hitter, the only batter not to see a plate appearance in the first inning. Then we'll go back to the top, Slade Caldwell and Grayson Becker.
Stotts has speed right off the bat, see if Valley View tries to put a little pressure on Arkadelphia, scoring Stotts around the bunt. I believe he had a bunt single yesterday in the win against Farmington. Pentecost is playing on the green turf instead of the brown turf.
Yep.
In on the grass. Can you say that?
The artificial grass, the artificial dirt, the artificial chalk. And here's the first pitch. Bounces in the artificial dirt. Ball 1. From the windup, here's the 1-0. It'll be pop foul, back out of play. First time in a long time, you're probably going to see neither the host of the regional or the state tournament participating in their own tournament.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Nashville bidding this year, obviously, part of why they put that bid in is because their softball team was just absolutely tremendous. They have a good chance to win. You want them to play at home. And obviously, normally, Nashville baseball is going to be making the state tournament as well.
Strike 3, a swing and a miss. So the third strikeout of the game is the first out of the second inning. And back to the top we go with Slade Caldwell, who doubled off the left field wall his first time up back in the first.
Back to the top of the order. Batting is the pitcher, Slade Caldwell.
Speaking of Slades, got a Slade here. Coach Slayton's son, Slade, is a player for the that one almost
Got out of your picture, but when Pentecost, that, it's an inside-out swing from Caldwell. He's gone opposite field with most every ball that I've seen him hit these last 2 days, which is a small sample size for the rest of the year. But we mentioned there's a lot of area in foul territory. Pentecost was not quite able to run that one down, made a valiant effort at it with just a few feet over his head.
no balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Campbell. That one sails high and skips off the mid of Hill.
I'd like to mention that the Badger soccer team is playing right now. They started at noon in the second round of the 4A State Boys Soccer Tournament at Robinson High School. Defeated Mills University Studies up 12-0 yesterday, playing against Clarksville, the 1 seed from the 4A West right now.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a big swing and a miss. Good pitch there by
Campbell. He changed his arm location there. He usually comes over the top, and he dropped it down a little bit on that one. 1-2 the count. Big pitch here if you can be able to get past Caldwell.
We'll see if he keeps that lower arm slide, and no, he comes right over the top, and he rings him up. Ooh. Nice pitch.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Arkadelphia gets the call there. That must have caught the outer front left corner of the plate, but it was a 1-2 pitch. You have one to waste, so you might as well go out there, see if you can get a call. He was tailing away from the batter, the left-handed batter coming from that left arm of Campbell, and he got the call. It was big for Arkadelphia. Big pitch from Tripp.
Becker, his second time up. He bunted for a single back in the first and moved Caldwell over. Takes strike 1 to start the count here, and 2 down in the top of the second. And sails high and stays out of the zone for ball 1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's going to be popped up in the infield. Drawing a bead on it is Witten. So 1-2-3 go the Blazers here in the top of the second. And that's what you want, Chris. You want to put that bad inning behind you and then get into playing some Badger baseball, and that's what Tripp Campbell did right there.
That's right. Much better inning for Arkadelphia. You can afford a bad, but you don't afford multiple bad innings in a row. Campbell bounced back with the efficiency on the mound there. He had 31 pitches the first inning. That's probably I bet he only had about 10 or 12 in that inning, so that's big as well. So good inning for Arkadelphia there to get out of that one 3 up, 3 down.
We'll see Witten, Johnson, and Young here in the bottom of the second. Warm day, 85 degrees, sunny. Beautiful day for baseball.
And kind of skipped right through spring, didn't it?
I believe it did. You know, it wasn't too awful long ago. Like you said, we were sitting in this very location, and the wind was blowing about 25 miles an hour and gusting hard enough that it was picking up pieces of the roofing, slamming it down.
The brand new
roofing
yeah.
Here at this very nice complex at Wilson Park, and it sounded like thunder today. It's 85 degrees, and
yeah, Blake, I wish our camera was on the other side. Good contingent of Arkadelphia fans. The student section, a lot of students have made their way. They found their way to Walmart or Dollar Tree or wherever to buy up any green paraphernalia they could find in Arkadelphia. Not a whole lot out there, but good crowd down the third base line for Arkadelphia. If you're familiar with Wilson Park, they're covered grandstands that have bleachers that go from home plate down to the dugout, and about 10 rows of those bleachers. And there's a good crowd of Arkadelphia folks down that third base line. You can see the Badger red and blue, and there's some green sprinkled in too.
Donovan Witten will start things off for Arkadelphia. 286 on the year. His on-base percentage is .550. He scored 18 runs for the Badgers. Starting to come on as of late. Had a slow start to the year, but starting to pick it up here recently. Here's the pitch from Caldwell, ball 1. Yeah, I think I own one piece of green attire, and that's the hat that I got earlier in the year.
Yeah, I think the only green at our house was a John Deere T-shirt that the kids wore when they were just a little younger.
Maybe some camouflage, but wrong green. 2-0 to the Arkadelphia second baseman. And ball 3.
It must have been low. It caught the outside part of the plate. Must have been low in the zone.
Witten leads the team in walks. He's got 22 free passes on the year, and he's 3-0 here to start the bottom of the second. We'll see if Caldwell comes inside or if he puts him on. And he leaves it up high, so Arkadelphia base runner to start the inning. And 13 stolen bases as well for Witten, so he will be a threat to steal a base as well.
Tucker Johnson to the plate. Tucker was one of the hottest Badgers from the plate last weekend. Had a couple of big RBIs in those 3 games. Just a good week offensively. He likes to go to the right side, and there's a hole between first and second base. But right now, since Caldwell's thrown 5 straight balls, you expect Tucker might have the take sign on. And
so
here comes time.
Yeah, we're going to get a visit. And as we mentioned earlier, Caldwell did throw yesterday. He did pitch up into the 20 or so pitch range. So not a lot of work, but anytime you go up and you throw hard like that, the next day you're going to have a little fatigue, and we may be seeing some of that right now.
Yeah, Badgers can only hope anyway. But, yeah, Caldwell, the sophomore, very talented center fielder. Did see him in center field yesterday, and that's what I believe his future lies in college baseball. Yeah, Caldwell, they're taking time to go out and talk to him a little bit. 5 straight balls to open up the second inning. If you're Caldwell here, you've got a 3-0 lead, but you can't afford Arkadelphia to keep flirting with to keep getting runners on and flirting with fire. So Coach tries to come down, get Caldwell to come back in the zone and keep Arkadelphia from getting free bases.
So being held on at first base over there. And there's a strike. So a ball and a strike now to Johnson. Leadoff walk for Witten. He's at first base. Lutz holding him on. And ball 2 sails high.
You know, the catcher for Valley View is setting up Lawson Ward. He's getting up in his crouch. I don't know if he's calling for the pitch up or, you know, he has his stance right there where he's flashing the sign, but when he gets in his crouch, he comes up a good 6 to 8 inches some, and now he's on a knee, maybe low pitch. Yeah.
And it's a strike, so count even now to Tucker, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Katie Young on deck. He'll see an at bat here in the inning. 2-2 on its way. Stays high, ball 3.
The first 7 batters for Arkadelphia have done a good job with 2 strikes. Babb got his hit on a 2-strike count, so did Campbell. Tucker trying to do the same here.
We'll see if Witten's off and running on a full count. And the shot out in right center field. Is anyone going to get there? Yes, the right fielder draws the bead going to his right, and so there's the first out of the inning.
As it well struck by Tucker, just got it up a little bit too much, and then it kind of died as it got out in the to the apex of the of its flight. Just kind of died there in right center field. Thought he might have a chance to get that one down, but it got up a little bit too much in the air and hung up there.
Here's KD, 346 on the year. He's got 18 hits, 13 runs scored. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 3 base runners so far for Arkadelphia, 2 stranded in the first inning, 1 on with no outs. Now 1 out here in the second. That ball is fouled back, just catching the top of the screen. Young down 0-2 in the count. 3 umpires on the field in playoff baseball. 2 in the field, 1 behind the plate. And pitch to KD is low, just a little bit.
Yeah, just missed. I think Ward was set up outside, and when he had to come back, bring his glove back inside to make that catch, it's going to throw the umpire's eyes off.
Three 3-0 the score, bottom of the second. Badgers trailing, 1 out and a runner on, and a swing and a miss. Back into first goes Witten with a throw, and so strikeout swinging for the second out of the inning, and Ryan Harris now the batter.
Got KD to swing and miss on that first pitch. Was a fastball on the outside part of the plate. The 2-strike pitch went back to that same spot, and KD couldn't catch up with it.
Harris hitting .348 on the year, and he has been on fire here in the postseason as well. There's a shot out in the right field. The right fielder going to make a small adjustment and make the catch. So 2 flies out to right field and a strikeout, and the Badgers go again, leaving a runner on base. Leadoff walk to Witten is for naught, as the Arkadelphia Badgers trail it at the end of 2 here in Nashville, 3-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you.
it if you try.
Arkadelphia and Valley View, very similar teams, both going 14-0 in their conferences. Valley View did give up a game in the regional. Arkadelphia did not.
Valley View was the only team from the 4A East from the 4A 3 to make the tournament. Lone Oak, PA, and Robinson, the other teams representing the 4A East, and they're from the 4A 2 conference in Central Arkansas. Lawson
Ward now, the catcher. He had a single and an RBI back in the first inning.
Caught that one just off the bottom of the bat, went through the wickets of Zane Hill and caught the umpire in the leg, so Hill's going to go out and talk. Ward did have a home run yesterday for Valley View. It was the only score. It was in the bottom of the first inning, gave Valley View the first 2 runs of the game, and they didn't score any more until that last inning. Maybe that caught the umpire in the hand. Yeah, he's shaking that left hand. That caught him in the hand.
So we've got a 0-1 count to Blazer catcher. From the windup, here's Campbell. Outside, ball 1. Arkadelphia respecting his power as they're going to be playing fairly deep, especially in left. Already had one get over Bell's head back in the first inning.
Do have an update on the boys soccer. The Badgers trail Clarksville 4-0 at halftime. So Arkadelphia trying to come back in soccer, just like trying to come back in baseball.
I saw that score yesterday. I thought, man, did a football game break out, a real football game?
I believe Alejandro Quintero had 6 goals for Arkadelphia yesterday.
2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Taken, ball 3.
It was a good take from Ward. It was a breaking ball. It was right over the middle of the plate. Broke low. Usually Tripp has been able to get guys to go after that pitch. Valley View showing good plate discipline in this first 2+ innings, not going after that one.
There's a shot out into center field. Babb going to go to his left and measure it up, and the first down of the inning.
Good pitch by Tripp, 3-1. You throw a strike, make it go after it. And, you know, we saw Caldwell's ball to left center field carry. The flag in center field and to the left of the batter's eye is blowing to left field. Anything to the right side is going, and it gets up, it's going to die. And we saw that with Tucker Johnson in the bottom of the second. We kind of saw that one with that opposite field shot right there.
Hoskins now the DH. He walked back in the back in the first inning. He's the cleanup hitter for Valley View. There's a nice pitch on the inside, Black. It's called strike 1.
Yeah, the umpire is given that. Here, are you kidding me? Call from the from a Blazer fan, but that umpire is given that inside part of the plate, or that part, whether it's a left-handed batter or a right-handed batter.
And Tripp goes back in there. This one is going to be dribbled to third. Not much of a play, and he's not going to be able to get it secured as Pentecost is charging in. Almost a swinging bunt there, and it's a infield single for Hoskins, who's on for the second time.
It's a good read off of the bat. A big swing from Hoskins, just caught enough of the ball and just caught enough to stay fair. Pentecost got a nice read off of contact, but he was running, was going to have to throw across his body, just couldn't quite bring it out of his glove cleanly.
Watlington now, he grounded out back in the first. And there's a ball that gets by the catcher. And not exactly sure what crossed up. Wasn't a wild pitch, just somehow tied up Zane and gets away and runners down to second. So a weak single is now with a runner at scoring position after the pass ball. A ball and no strikes. And that's strike one. Well, he got the little bit of outside help that time on the right-handed batter, Watlington, and draws the count even now, ball and a strike. Pentecost on the edge of the artificial grass at third. And a big swing and a miss at a high fastball that he took some off of.
Yeah, it might have been a breaking ball or something, but it just had it hung up there in the air forever. And just looked like one of those cartoons with just big old beach ball coming at the batter. And Watlington just couldn't lay off of it, couldn't get around on it.
Here's the 1-2 from the stretch. Giving a little peek over his left shoulder at the runner at second. Here's the pitch. It's foul back. So a long trip from the Jonesboro area for the Valley View Blazers. I would imagine they probably stayed the night last night.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere
We're
here
trying to
around
think.
Nashville.
Maybe Nashville, Murfreesboro, Prescott.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good breaking ball. Just started a little bit too much outside and up. Zane got out of his crouch to go catch that one, so you're not going to get it. But, yeah, that one was a good breaking ball. But if Tripp wishes he had that one back, because if he starts that one about 6 inches lower and closer in, that's a strike, and there's no way Watlington was going to be able to think it was going to break into the zone.
Hoskins is tap dancing off of second base. And there's a ground ball that's just going to be fouled down the left side. A little bit of a stab at it, but
yeah,
not
it
able
was
to
one of
come up.
those on this turf, when you hit one straight into the ground, that next hop is never going to bounce as high as that first one when it has that spin on it. That caught the spin. It caught one of those seams, and wind was there, and it just kind of shot under his glove. Obviously, we're talking about a foul ball, but you can learn that and play it the next time you have a bouncer like that spinning off of that turf.
A lot of work for Pentecost over there so far in the game. Nothing's been easy. 2 balls, 2 strikes now with a runner at second. 1 out in the inning. Hoskins, the runner, at second base, and Watlington at the plate. Here's the 2-2. High, ball 3. Count goes full. Runner back to second.
Take a shallow fly ball here, to left or right, and let Hoskins tag and get some momentum with a throw out at third base. What do you say?
Yeah,
Take that.
Sounds like the deal to
we
me.
Go punch that in the kiosk and order it up.
Yep, and there's strike 3. Have a seat, young man. Nice breaking pitch.
He gave up on it too early.
He
Watlington
did.
gave up on that one way too early. They've given that. They called that inside corner for both pitchers. Or that, well, not even it was inside on him, but Watlington just gave up on that one way too early. Nice breaking ball by Campbell. Nice job by Hill of staying in there, making the catch. Another strikeout for Tripp.
Lutz the batter now, lefty. Struck out swinging his last time up in the first.
Now we'll just take a fly ball to end it, right?
Yep.
We don't have to have the double play anymore.
Nothing fancy.
Now that wind that I was talking about going to left has switched courses, and now it's blowing from left to right field, so could have more power out there. Oh,
And that
yeah, Tripp tried to drop down again, but that one just didn't come back in, and he lost the feel of that one, and it caught Lutz in the helmet. Hadn't seen Tripp drop down like that very often. It's only the second time we saw it today, and that one just got away from him.
you wonder if it might have something to do with that little bit of an elbow problem that he had going back into first base back in the first inning. Doesn't seem to be bothering his delivery. Maybe just something that he's worked into his repertoire. pop up on the infield. Tucker going to go over into foul territory and size it up and not able to make the play. You know, the wind right now is blowing straight out, so we've gone within a half inning of the wind blowing right to left, left to right, and now it's blowing straight out, and it's just swirling up there, and that's what gave Tucker the problem. That's one of the hardest catches to make over the shoulder for a first baseman in foul territory.
Yeah, you mentioned the wind. As soon as that ball hit the turf, I looked out at that flag, and it's blowing straight out now. Not very hard, but just you get it up high like that, and it doesn't take much.
So as a pitcher, that's one that you really want, but we'll see if Campbell can come back here and leave a couple stranded. There's a strike 2 on a pitch he took a little bit off of. Tripp does a good job of mixing up his velocity. Obviously has that 12-6 breaking pitch when he needs to go get it, but he also can just take a little off of the changeup or the
0-2 pitch here. If you can get that breaking ball on the inside part of the corner on that right-handed batter, it's going to be tough. You've got one to waste, too.
And there's a shot out into left center field. It's going to get down. It's going to score 1. Babb coming up with it. It's going to hit it, the relay at miss overthrow. The relay at second, and it scores 2 for the Blazers. Timely piece of hitting there. That's all you can say. That was driven nicely into the gap. And there's that foul ball that comes back to haunt you every time.
Yep, you are just a foot from getting out of that inning. And then Salisbury takes advantage of it and put one in the left center field gap that found the exact middle of Bell and Babb out there in left field and got to the fence. Left that one up a little bit, and Salisbury turned on it.
So Turley now the batter. He struck out looking back in the first to end the inning. The sophomore. Inside pitch is called for strike 1.
Boy, Blake, you go back to last week's games, and there was one play in each game that really took a close game and put some separation. There was an RBI double from Carter in the Crossett game. There was the juice jump and Tate pitching in the second game. Nice pitch there by Campbell on the 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball. He spoils it away. And then you go to that Monticello game. There was also one play that really kind of put some separation. Unfortunately for Arkadelphia, today so far, it's that the foul ball followed up 2 pitches later by that 2 RBI double to the gap.
Chance to get out of the inning. Still a runner on. That's Salisbury over at second base. The 1-2 is just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5 runs on 4 hits for Valley View. No runs yet across for Arkadelphia on 2 hits. Strike 3, there's that inside pitch, and he needed it to get out of the inning. So another strikeout for Campbell. That's 6 on the day. We'll try to get a pitch count on him in just a few minutes as we go to the bottom of the third. We're going to keep it right here. Arkadelphia will be back to the top of the lineup. Goodrum, Babb, and Campbell.
66 pitches for Tripp through 3 innings, so right at 22.
So we'll see if Caldwell goes back out for another inning. I'm sure he probably will.
Yeah.
And he is. Top of the lineup, Goodrum, Babb, and Campbell. Goodrum flew out to right field. Campbell and Babb both singled in that first inning. We'll see if they can keep it going here in the bottom of the third. Arkadelphia fighting for its playoff lives here. Got a first round bye with the win in the regional tournament. Valley View did play yesterday. Beat Farmington 15-3 on a 13-run sixth inning explosion. Otherwise, that was a very, very close game. And so far today, the difference is Valley View's plating the runs that they get on the bases, and Arkadelphia's not.
Yeah, Arkadelphia stranded the 2 in the first inning. Also had a chance in the second, stranded a runner. You can't afford when you're down, and now after that 2 RBI double, you can't afford to allow Caldwell and the Blazers to put too many more goose eggs up on that scoreboard. You got to get something going as you turn the lineup card over and go back to the top of the order.
Here's Goodrum. Pitch from Caldwell, strike 1. Swing and a miss. From the windup, ground ball hit to short, gumbled up, play to first, in time to stretch.
Oh, they called him off. They said he came off.
Pulled him off the bag.
Wow.
I didn't see that. We've got a very clear vantage point, and the official is right there on the play. So
yeah, the Valley View coach can't get upset for being out of position because the first base umpire was standing in fair territory, and he had a great angle of Lutz's foot and the corner of the bag. Now the throw for the charging shortstop was up the line a little bit, and so that forced Lutz to stretch. But
boy, it looked like he might have held a toenail on that bag, but apparently not. And the official right there on top of it, so you've got to take his word for it. Nothing out of the Valley View dugout. So
Babb has bunted for base hits earlier this season. The third baseman is playing in front of the bag, even with the green turf and the brown turf, even with the in on the grass. It's still weird to say out here.
Yeah. There's a hot shot that he pulls down third base, or excuse me, down first base line. That's foul, just a bit.
Yeah, came inside on that one. He turned around on it just a little bit too much. Lutz is playing right on the bag. You know, he's holding Goodrum on, so even when he comes off after that pitch, there's not a lot of space between Lutz and the foul territory, so it's going to be hard unless it's a really hot shot to sneak one by the first baseman.
And he hits it right to him. They're going to second. He's going to get the bag at first instead. He thought about going to second and trying to double him up, but he takes the sure out at first. And so Babb is out on a unassisted play from the first baseman and advances Goodrum down to second. Campbell reached on a single in the first.
You know, he got Arkadelphia going here last time at this park with a home run to left center field when Arkadelphia trailed 1-0. Arkadelphia could use a spark here.
First pitch is
the wind
low.
is blowing out to left center now.
Umpire did a strange little point over towards the Arkadelphia dugout. Not exactly sure what that was, but there's a bouncing ball to the first baseman. He's got one play, and that's the first, and he is just in time as Caldwell was covering over from the mound and advances the runner to third base and take Goodrum, but there's now 2 outs. JB struck out his first time up in the first for the second out of the inning. See if he can plate the first Badger run of the game here with Goodrum 90 feet away. From the stretch, here's Caldwell. Outside and strike 1. 5-0. Valley View leading here in the bottom of the third. The Badgers have had base runners each inning, just failing to get them home. Now we've got Tate Goodrum at third base. There's a chopping ball to third. That's one that's going to eat the third baseman up, and there's the first run of the ball game for Arkadelphia.
Scratch one across any way you can. We talk about putting the ball in play. You've got to try to put the ball in play, make things happen. Valley View got a runner on and scored a run in a play similar to that in the first. And then Arkadelphia is able to be the beneficiary of the short hop there from Jarrett Bell.
Pentecost now, he grounded to the third baseman his first time back up for the last out of the first inning. See if he can find a hole here in the third.
Blake, Arkadelphia trying to be the only team from the 4A South region to win its first game. Monticello, Star City, and Fountain Lake all lost yesterday.
Wow. I think everybody just beat up on each other so much in the regional. Pitch is high, 2 balls, no strikes. Pentecost hitting .328. He's on base 471, so reaches base a lot of different ways. 18 walks on the year. That's number 2 on the team. Bell getting a small lead from first, being held on over there by Lutz. Here's the pitch. It's going to be hit in the gap. It's going to right center field, going around second into third. He's going to score. Bell going to try to score from third. Here's the throw. He's down, safe at home. And Arkadelphia with something going here in the bottom of the third inning with a 2-out RBI double from Wynn Pentecost.
Pentecost went opposite field with that one. He found the power alley, found the jet stream, put that one, in the last inning. Salisbury got that one in left center just between Babb and Bell. Well, Pentecost returns the favor here in the bottom of the third, right to the star, the scrapper star there in right center. Bell running on the contact with 2 outs was able to score from first. Big spot there for Wynn Pentecost, and now Arkadelphia has a chance to cut this to 2 if Whitten can get a base hit here as well. He came on offensively at the end of that regional last week too.
Strike 1 in there to Whitten. I wasn't going to say anything, but today is Friday the 13th. Yesterday, Valley View scored 13 runs in that one inning. Is that good luck or bad luck?
I don't know. We got the green cap, so hopefully.
5 runs is not going to win this ball game, my friend. I can tell you that right now.
Ooh. Now,
hard pitch to take, a ball and a strike.
Valley View's not going to like that one because that's the seems to be around the area that Trip Campbell has gotten a couple of strikes called for him. Now, they were breaking balls, and that was a fastball, so it might have, had, not as much tail or break.
A lot of bouncing around out there off second base is Pentecost. One thing you can say about Wynn Pentecost, he has fun when he's playing baseball. He gets his money's worth for sure. And he sure got his money's worth on that last one, as Arkadelphia is now a run closer at 5-2. There's a throw back into second base. Whirling around is Caldwell, not able to get Wynn as he goes back in head first. 2 balls, 1 strike to Donovan Whitten. Whitten walked his first time up to lead off the second. We're 2 outs into the bottom of the third. Arkadelphia's got a couple plated and 1 more in scoring position. Down low, ball 3. Tucker's behind him if he were to reach. Big gap between first and second, wheeling around there, and not making the throw was Caldwell. Taking a little more time, a little more methodical. Now Whitten going to take call for time, step out of the box. Witten with that red bat and the bright yellow tape on the handle. Swing and a miss. That one tailed just far enough out of the reach of that red bat. And it draws the count to full now at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Big spot here for Witten.
Arkadelphia's had trouble with that fastball that starts on the outside part of the plate and tails away from the right-handed batter. See if they go back here from Caldwell, if Caldwell goes back here on that one.
Timeout again, and a little bit of a cat and mouse game here now between Caldwell and Witten. 3-2 from the belt. And it's another fake back to second. Back in goes Pentecost. Second baseman Watlington is holding him on. Back and forth. Shortstop in his normal position. Third base is back. 3-2, fouled away.
Well, they went to that fastball on the outside part. Didn't quite get outside, as far outside, a little bit too much of the plate there. I'm sure it's what Caldwell, more than what Caldwell wanted, and Witten was able to just get it off the cap of that bat and stay alive.
So he spoils what was a pretty good pitch. We'll see if he comes back inside on him or if he goes back to that outside pitch. Wouldn't be surprised for him to go back to that outside pitch. Here's the 3-2. No, he comes inside and locks him up. So a Badger is left on base again. And Witten goes down, but Arkadelphia does plate 2 in the inning to draw closer. The score after 3 complete. Valley View 5, Arkadelphia 2. We'll be back from Nashville after this.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back to baseball here in Nashville. 4A baseball state tournament. Winner goes on to play Shiloh Christian tomorrow at noon in the semifinals. And then one more, and that's the state championship in Benton in a week. Back out for his 4th inning of work is Trip Campbell. He's thrown 66 pitches through 3 innings. He's got 6 strikeouts and has only given up 4 hits. Both teams with 4 hits on the day. Arkadelphia with only 2 of those resulting in runs. 5 on the board for the Blazers.
You go back to that first inning where you had, the double and a bunt and then a throwing error. Arkadelphia on the board with 3 errors, and they're down by 3. So you go back to that first inning. Arkadelphia just kind of had a little first inning that didn't settle in too well, and then you go back to the top of the 3rd when the Blazers were able to capitalize on the dropped pop foul.
Jackson Stott's going to lead things off. Shortstop struck out earlier in the contest back in the 2nd inning for the first out of that inning. And then it's to the top with Caldwell and Becker. Outside pitch is missed, 2-0.
Caldwell was at 50 pitches through 3 innings. Well, I guess they did call it a strike. 1-1 is the count. I don't know if it was the first pitch or the second, but the count is 1-1 instead of 2-0.
And there's strike 2.
He's got a delayed strike call also, so anything that he's saying strike. So the batter and catcher can hear, the fans just can't see. And so that delayed strike call does not help the angst of the fans any either.
No, it doesn't. And
now we've got our resident heckler. One, you don't get one pitch.
There's always
one.
There's always one of those here.
Yeah. And that one bounced. He said, "That's a strike 2, right?"
2 balls, 2 strikes from the windup. Ball 3. That one skips in. Counts full now. You know, you usually say there's always that guy, but it's not always that guy. Sometimes it's that gal. And I think we've got a mixed bag of folks here that are voicing their opinion. And ball 4 just misses. So a leadoff walk here in the inning. And now back to the top, Slade Caldwell. He struck out looking in the second after doubling in the first. Caldwell, the pitcher of record so far for Valley View. Now seeing his 3rd time at the plate. And it's low, ball 1. Stotts drawing a leadoff walk. He's at first base. Tucker Johnson holding him on, and there he goes. There he's throwing behind him. And now they're going to throw it into left field. Arkadelphia, now he's going to score. He's going to try to score. Bell comes up with a hard throw. It's cut off. And so now the runner Stotts is into third base, and that is 3 times Arkadelphia has picked off the runner at first, and either the throw is late or that time it just completely gets away from Goodrum and goes into shallow left field. So that leadoff walk is now standing at third base, and the dangerous Caldwell is in the box, 1-0. Strike 2 is high, or excuse me, ball 2 is high. Wind starting to pick up just a little bit now, blowing out to right center.
That's not where Arkadelphia needs it to be blowing
Not
out
right now. And there's strike 1. No argument from anyone on that one. A few claps from the Arkadelphia faithful. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Blazer pitcher. And ball 3 just misses. Becker on deck. Here's the 3-1. High, ball 4. So Caldwell draws a walk. Runners at the corners now for Grayson Becker.
Coach Lowe's going to call time and go out and talk to Tripp. Big spot here, middle of the game. Down by 3 with runners at the corners and nobody out. You have to believe that Valley View is going to try to start Caldwell at first to try to see if you can just get a free bag. Tripp has been able to throw over. You mentioned it a few times, but Arkadelphia the first time was not able to get the out and gave up a run. The second time conceded the bag, and then on that last one, which Valley View fans were trying to get a balk call, but then that last one, the throw went into left field, allowing Stotts to be at third. So first and third, nobody out. Coach Lowe, a good time to call time, go out and make sure that catcher and infielders are on the same page here.
Home plate umpire going to go bust the little conference meeting up. Infield retreats back to their positions.
Now we have a little let's go Blazers, let's go Badgers. Yep. Shout off in the
it's all
stands,
fun
right?
and games until a cheerleading competition breaks out. That's when people really get hurt. All right. Grayson
Arkadelphia
Becker.
trying not to get hurt in this situation.
Swing and a miss.
They started Caldwell. I don't know if you saw it on the right of your screen. Caldwell took a fake, just a couple of bluff steps. Campbell did a nice job of blocking that one out and delivering the pitch, which drew the big swing and the miss from Becker. See if Caldwell goes off the pitch here, see what Arkadelphia does with him if they just concede the bag, try to get in a run down and get the runner at third.
And he's not going to take the bag, but he is going to squeeze that one. It's going to be a play at first. The run gets across, hustling over to third. To cover third is Goodrum. The runner does not advance. So Caldwell advances to second, and
it's a well-executed bunt. You're down first and third, first and third, nobody out. You have a push bunt to the right side. The pitcher's not going to be able to make that play. Arkadelphia fielding it cleanly. Tate Goodrum going over to cover third to make sure the Caldwell was not going to get a free bag, because if that happens, that would have been just a deflator for Arkadelphia if you have a defensive breakdown like that.
You've got to keep everything in front of you for the Arkadelphia battery. You really want to keep that runner off of third base if possible. Lawson Ward, the catcher, now is up for his third time. He had an RBI single back in the first and flew out last inning, and Caldwell slides into third without a throw.
Yeah, he went on move on that one. Tripp had a high leg kick, and so Caldwell was off on the leg kick. He was in scoring position anyway. Now he's in tag up or could score on a pass ball, wild pitch.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. And maybe whatever heckling there was has gotten under the umpire's skin a little bit against Arkadelphia, because that was a pitch that I believe was an earlier strike. 2 balls and no strikes now. There's a shot that's going to get over Tate Goodrum's head into left center field. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Babb is up with it. He's going to relay it into second base, and a double, RBI double for Valley View here in the top of the fourth.
Had really just a good looking hit that time. Just got around on it, just over the outstretched arms of Tate Goodrum, and it hit that grass out there, and it just shot. It just took off. You could tell on JB's angle, as soon as that ball hit the ground, it just shot towards the fence in left center.
Blazers hitting the ball very hard.
They're not the defending state champions for nothing.
No, they're not. We knew five
Yeah.
runs wasn't going to win this. We were just hoping it was us going over the 5-run mark, not them.
They called a strike. Hoskins is saying that it glanced over his brace on his left arm. He had elbow surgery. I believe it was elbow surgery. And he said it grazed the elbow part, but umpire is having none of it. Breaking ball gets called a strike.
There's a throw down to third, and he's in time.
Nice.
Got him. Nice play by Zane Hill. He goes behind the batter, Hoskins, and throws out the runner. And so a nice play there for the first out of the inning is Zane Hill, and that empties the bag and is a 1-1 strike call on the batter. So nobody on now, and a runner thrown out at third by Hill. And there's strike 2. Hoskins wanted it, started to flinch at it, changed his mind.
You know, the runner slid into second, but Wynn Pentecost slid into third, but Wynn Pentecost also slid into third as he made that catch and sliding tag.
Yeah, that was almost another flinch. That one does not catch the strike zone, so it's 2-2. Yeah, he did. This artificial surface is good for sliding, that's for sure. Matter of fact, you can slide right by the bag if you're not careful. Here's the 2-2 count. The rally caps off for Arkadelphia. Swung on and grounded to short. Going to his right, making the throw across his body, and in time is Tate Goodrum. Nice play, Tate Goodrum. Nice stretch, Tucker Johnson. And the Badgers give up 2, but Chris, it could have been a lot worse.
Boy, it really could have been. You have a great throw, catch, and tag from Zane Hill behind the plate to Wynn Pentecost at third, as Wynn came behind the runner and made the catch and slid and tagged at the same time. And then Tate Goodrum catches that one going towards the third base bag, throws across his body, uses the turf to get the hop, and Tucker Johnson with a nice stretch. That could have been a lot worse.
Well, Caldwell back out for another inning of work. Bottom of the 4th. And Valley View gets the 2 runs that Arkadelphia plated in the bottom of the 3rd. They get it back here in the top of the 4th. So Arkadelphia back to that 5-run deficit. You know, we talked about our last broadcast at the regional that, you know, Tate did not have a great hitting tournament, and to start, and then he had a couple of errors.
Yep.
In that Star City game, but then lo and behold, he comes up and starts hitting, and so putting it all together, hopefully this is definitely the time to do that. Arkadelphia's got always there to pick up, someone there to pick up your slack when someone else is not getting it done. But I get the strange feeling that everybody's going to have to play their best baseball to finish
no
this
doubt.
one out.
You know, Arkadelphia answered Valley View's 2 with 2 of its own. Then Valley View comes back to get 2. You can't afford a zero here, Blake. I don't think. You know, there's never, you know, you always have time left in baseball, and there's no clock and all those sayings. But in the course of the game, this is a big inning for Arkadelphia to try to get something back. You don't want to respond to Valley View's 2 runs with another 0 of your own.
No, and we are at the halfway point, starting the bottom of the 4th. Tucker Johnson flew out to right field his first time up. He takes ball 1 to start the at-bat. And it looks like we're going to have someone from Arkadelphia going to be asked to get back in the dugout and off the ice chest. Little housekeeping issue there, and all the Badgers back in the confines of the dugout. 1 ball, no strikes. And didn't think it was that big of an infraction, but now I hear the police siren, so they may be coming after Juice Harris over there with more trouble than we thought. 2 balls, no strikes. Ball's high. Tucker doing what Tucker does, and that is get on base. 3-0 count. He's off to a good start so far. Three balls, no strikes from the stretch. Strike 1. Taking all the way, Tucker was.
Yep, Campbell and Caldwell both have been able to live on that inside corner at the knees, especially if you can get one to break over that. But that time it was just a fastball that found it.
Tucker 481 on base. He takes strike 2, so he was taking all the way again. Now he's 3-2. And he's got to decide on this one. from the stretch. Caldwell pitches high outside, ball 4. Badgers lead off Badger on base again for
good AB from Tucker. You know, you get handcuffed on the first called strike on the inside. Caldwell goes back outside and catches you on that one, and then you were able to show discipline enough to not swing at something out of the zone. Now you need KD to back that up. You know, KD has had a few doubles this year as well. He likes that right center field gap where Pentecost found. Sure would be nice for him to go opposite field and square one up too. That was outside.
That was way outside. That caught the artificial chalk on the left-handed batter's box.
Pitcher's got to love being able to get a couple of inches on either side of the plate. A lot of times you'll see umpires give inside but not out, but he's giving it to both.
Pop-up is going to stay in the infield. Coming over is the catcher. He's trying to beat it up, and he makes the catch in foul territory.
Caldwell did a nice job of telling his catcher, I can't see it, I don't see it at all. And then a nice job by Lawson Ward of the catcher fending off the sun. He was looking straight into that sun that's coming back from behind the plate, and to make that catch is a big catch.
So Harris now, he flew out to right field, his first time up in the second. 1 out now. Tucker Johnson drew a leadoff walk. He's at first base, being held on over there by Lutz. And there's a shot right up the middle, and it's going to get,
man.
Wow, ranging to his right. That ball looked like it was going to get through the gap, but the second baseman, Watlington, is able to move to his right and make the play at second for the fielder's choice.
Juice went up the middle with that one, but it was hit just soft enough and took a long time to get down and bounce that the second baseman Watlington was able to do a nice job of ranging behind the bag on the shortstop side of the bag to make that play, and enough time to get Johnson at second.
So back to the top of the lineup now. Goodrum singled his last time up in the third. High, ball 1. So Harris replaces Tucker Johnson over at first base, now with 2 outs. We talked about needing to get something on the board here for Arkadelphia. Just a good play there by the second baseman, Watlington, to take one away from Harris.
Backdoor breaking ball. Caldwell gets to drop in for strike 1, so Goodrum even in the count, 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's a shot that's going to, that one's going to get through. There's a seeing eye ground ball that gets through the left side, and it's going to advance Juice to second. Now with 2 outs, you've got 2 on, and Babb, the hitter, he singled back in the first and grounded to the first baseman in the third. Second baseman going to move just a little bit to his left.
Third baseman's playing back. I don't know if Coach Blow would call for a bunt right here or not, but
it's going to skip. First pitch is going to skip in there for ball 1. Base hit would almost definitely score Juice from second base. Shortstop is half-heartedly holding him on. He's going to sneak around behind him a little bit. Juice taking a secondary. Ball 2. Arkadelphia has been dangerous in the later innings all throughout this season. We'll see if they've got some late inning heroics in them today. That ball is going to be hit foul down the left side. Nobody's going to get to it. It bounces over the fence. Strike 1. 7-2 the score. Valley View in control from the start. They scored 3 in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Arkadelphia with 2 in the third. Throw behind the runner at first base. Catcher Ward. Not in time. One ball, one strike. Here's the pitch. Falls in there for strike 2.
Runners will be off. That's a good 3-1 breaking ball from Caldwell.
Full count. 2 outs, 2 on. Runners will be moving on the pitch. And here it is. Popped up in the infield. Shortstop settling under it. And he lost it in the sun. One will score. Unfortunate there for the shortstop, the Valley View shortstop, Stotts. He had it zeroed in until about 10 feet before it come to his glove, and he lost it in the sun.
Well, you could tell as soon as he camped out under it, he had it, and then all of a sudden you kind of saw a little bit of a moment of, I have no idea where that ball is. I just hope it's not going to hit me in the head. Look, you could tell even from this, you know, the coach is coming out to talk now. It's almost like he's wishing that left fielder or center fielder would have come out and got it. Arkadelphia is not going to turn it down. They were the beneficiary of something similar to that, although Valley View was able to get 2 runs off of the Arkadelphia miscue. Now Arkadelphia has runners at the corners thanks to a gift. But, yeah, you could see the shortstop Stotts camped out under it, and then about on the ball as it was coming down, it's just at the last minute. He's just like, I have no idea where this ball is.
This is a powder blue sky today, but that sun is directly overhead.
Yep.
And if you look up into it for just a second.
A trip to square one up here.
Campbell takes inside corner for strike 1. Goodrum is over at third. Babb is at first. He is being held on by the first baseman. Caldwell, a left-handed pitcher from the stretch, looking at first base bag. There's a ball that's going to be fair. Scoring will be Goodrum will score. Babb will score. Into third. Trip Campbell. It is 7-5. Tying run will be.
He squared one up,
plate.
Blake.
He did, and he squared it up. The lefty hit it right over the first base bag.
You can't hit it over the bag any more than that one, Blake. Goodness.
Wow.
I was looking at the umpire to see if he was going to make a call. He made the call of – he never pointed fair. You know, I think in the Valley View dugout thought it might have been foul. I think the first baseman didn't protest, so I think he knew. But Arkadelphia – gets a huge, huge break right there with Trip Campbell being able to pull one over the bag. And we mentioned that 20 yards of foul territory. That was over the bag headed to the corner. And so Babb was able to score from first base. It allowed Trip Campbell to get all the way to third because that one went all the way to that corner. Kelburn Middleton courtesy running for Campbell now.
Bell
Goodness
with a
gracious.
chance. I tell you what, you let the Badgers keep hanging around, and good things happen. We'll see if JB can put another run on the board for the Badgers as Middleton now is at third base. JB did put the ball in play and reached first base on an error.
6 hits now for Arkadelphia. Only 5 on the board for Valley View.
Foul tip right into the glove. A ball and a strike now. Big spot here for the senior Bell. Not had the kind of year he'd want from the plate, but a base hit right here would make him feel a lot better. And there's a shot to third base again. This one's going to be fielded cleanly. Up with it, and just in time to beat it as the throw from the third baseman.
Boy, Blake, he made that one a lot closer than you thought it might be right off the bat. That was a bang-bang play. The third baseman for Valley View makes a nice field, a nice throw across, good stretch from Lutz, but Bell made that one really close.
So we're through 4, and Arkadelphia's made it interesting. 7-5 the score. Valley View over the Badgers. We'll be back from the state tournament in Nashville right after this.
Family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music and we talked. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted in my own life.
And I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, in whatever you do.
Talk, they hear you.
Back to Wilson Park in Nashville, America. The Arkadelphia Badgers score 3 in the bottom of the 4th inning to make this a 7-5 game. We go to the top of the 5th, and Blake, don't count them out. You know, I mean, goodness gracious. We thought after that drop pop-up and the 2-run double that it was a big spot in the bottom of the 4th for Arkadelphia to not put up a 0. You get an out, a base hit, another out, and then Carter Babb hits the high pop fly, just the shallow outfield. Valley View can't see it. Tripp pulls one over the bag and gets a 2 RBI triple, and we're at 7-5 starting the top of the 5th. Tripp Campbell back on for his 5th inning of work.
Arkadelphia needs a big goose egg here. That would go a long way. We certainly don't want to give those runs back that you just worked hard to get in the 4th. First pitch from Watlington is fouled back against the screen. Watlington grounded out in the 1st and struck out looking in the 3rd. 73 pitches so far for Caldwell through 4 innings of work. And Tripp took a little bit off that one. Ball and a strike to the Valley View second baseman. Watlington, a senior. Well, you knew you were going to get a ball game. You don't win a state championship and come back the next year and go 14-0 unless you're a pretty good salty ball club, and that's exactly what Valley View is. Second strike is a foul ball, back out of play, off to the right, and they are just that. They don't make a lot of mistakes. An unforced error there back in the bottom of the inning with that sun in the getting in the eyes of the shortstop is just a little bit of a crack that the Badgers needed to break through with 3 runs in the inning.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. Just that one misplay for Arkadelphia, one misplay for Valley View.
And just hanging up there and missing the strike zone. So Watlington is on with a leadoff walk here in the 5th.
I know that's at least the 2nd inning in a row, I believe. There's been a leadoff walk. Valley View was able to get a couple of those in there in the 4th inning. We have a courtesy runner for Valley View now. Actually, that's got to be a pinch runner.
Yep.
Because Watlington's the second baseman. Winner advances to tomorrow's noon semifinal game against Shiloh Christian. The Saints blanked Lone Oak 4-0 in the first game today. Shiloh Christian pitcher Anderson had a perfect game going into the 7th inning. Lone Oak got a leadoff hit, and then Shiloh was able to close the door to win 4-0 to advance to tomorrow's semifinal. Huntsville and Robinson play next, and then later tonight, Pulaski Academy will play Harrison.
The Goblins.
Yeah, they're going to call a balk and send the runner to second base. That's what the lefty last week, it's the same umpire, Stephen Powell at first base, and Carter Babb got called for that last week. On a 3-man crew, you're not able to get away with some of the stuff you're able to get away with in a 2-man, and the Powell deemed that Campbell had gone across his left leg with his right leg before he made that pickoff attempt.
And it's usually hard to see, like you said, when you've got an official at first base and you've got another at third base. There's no room for error when that front leg goes across that mound or across that rubber. There's no holding back. You've got to deliver to the plate. Runner now at second base. Ball hit something. I'm not sure what it hit. Had to have hit a bat.
Yeah, they just sent the runner back to second, or the runner just went back to second. I think the umpire was saying that it didn't hit.
Well, he can't go, but he can't. It's a
I think
ball.
It was a live ball. I think he just gave second base back like Donovan did earlier in the season for Arkadelphia.
So for whatever reason, the ball hit something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it hit. It wasn't the catcher's mitt, but
I'm not sure what the ruling was, but regardless, the count's 0-1. There's a runner at second base.
Yeah, he's back at second base. So either he willfully gave it back or unknowingly, obviously, gave it back. Sneaking in behind him at second is Donovan, and back off.
Well, cat and mouse.
The rubber is
game
trip.
Here. But, yeah, we never saw the umpire make the signal with his hands like a deflection, like a foul ball. So I think everybody assumed it was foul. And the third base coach and the runner assumed it was foul, so we went back to second base. The umpire never sent him back.
Wow.
Could be wrong on everything I just read, but I never saw any indication from the umpire that it was a foul ball.
No, and he made the indication to the coach in the third base box that it was simply offered at as a bunt, but no contact was made.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right. It was that base runner, who is a pinch runner, mind you, just made a mistake.
And I think the coach thought it was a foul too, because he never told him to stay on the bag. Went nice hustle by Pentecost and Hill there on that pop bunt. Wynn was crashing, and then it was fouled just a little too far out of his reach as he was trying to dive for it to make the catch.
So the base runner back at second base. 0-2 the count to Lutz. Ball is high. Pitch to burn there by Campbell. And how important is that runner at second base? I think it's very important to Arkadelphia. They're doing everything in their power to keep that pinch runner at second base.
Yeah, they're running Goodrum and Whitten in different, different methods of trying to get the runner to see who's keeping him on.
Nick Denniston is the runner at second base. He's a pinch runner. He's a senior, so he's got some experience most likely. Lutz has struck out and been hit by a pitch today. And part of a very strange and unusual at bat again here. And there's a poke out into left field. That one's going to get down. Bell going to track it. He's going to make it on one hop. The throw into second base is not going to be in time. Sliding in is Lutz. And timely hitting once again for Valley View. And they're back. They've got one of those three back.
That was a good pitch by Campbell. It was a breaking ball that went started over the middle of the plate and went outside. Lutz just did a nice job of going with it. The two-strike approach just went with that when it was tailing away from Bell. And because of that, he was able to get into second base. That was a nice piece of hitting by Lutz right there with that runner in scoring position.
And that's going to be the day for Campbell, as he's going to retire out to center field, and it's going to bring in to the mound Whitten. We'll see Looks like coming out on the field is
yeah, Ryan Harris getting his infield glove. He'll move to second base. Babb will move over to right field. Campbell will go to center field with Donovan Whitten on the mound. Donovan's last outing was the start in the championship game in the regional against Monticello, the first almost complete game. First time he's pitched to the limit of 110 pitches. He comes in relief most of the season. This is his he only had 2 starts. I believe this is his 8th or 9th appearance in relief. And so he'll come in, and now's when you start to figure out, pitch count and things like that. This is where in the tournament situation where you start having to play. But Arkadelphia is in a spot now where you're down by 3. You got to get some outs, and pitchers are what it is. Pitch count is what it is. You got to be able to stay in the game here in the top of the 5th inning with a 3-run deficit, runner at second with nobody out.
Donovan's pitched in 32 innings. He's played in 14 games, started twice. He has 5 wins, 1 save, and 1 save opportunity. He's given up 20 hits, 18 runs. 11 of those 18 runs were earned. He's walked 18, struck out 38, and hit 4 batters. He has a 2.4 ERA. And he is a junior. So obviously Campbell upset that he's not able to come in and be more effective, but it's just one of those things that you wonder how strong is your conference. You wonder how strong is your obviously non-conference. Arkadelphia did have some issues in non-conference. What they've not done is they've not held their heads down, and they've not let the middle of a game affect the end of the game for them. And Arkadelphia tends to be strong in the late innings. Crooked numbers up in the last 2 innings. We'll see if they can do it again, and it's going to take that. Now down 3 runs and running out of time here in the top of the 5th. Still nobody out. A runner at second base.
It's going to be a different style, obviously. Switch to a right-handed pitcher. The velocity is going to be a little bit different as well. You want Donovan to be able to pump strikes and let the defense work. Campbell in center field now. Babb moves over to right, and Harris comes in from right to second.
And Harris is holding the runner on at second base. He'll retreat hard back to his second base position once the ball is committed to the plate. And that was just going to get away from Hill again. The runner goes to third.
That'll go down as a pass ball. Just went off of the mitt. Had to come across and catch that one, and just went off of the mitt, allowing the runner to go to third.
A lot of things different, probably more so on a catcher than any other position on the field when you go from an artificial or from a regular surface to an artificial surface. Coming home, Zane's going to get the play there. Third to home for the out. Tagging up. Tagging the runner out at home is Hill, and that's exactly what the Badgers needed. Now with 1 out, they exchange runners at third for 1 at first and an out.
Well, that's a gift. The Valley View runner, not sure if the coach told him to make Arkadelphia make a play. Yesterday, that's how Valley View got a run against Farmington. They ran one home, and the catcher went to make the tag. When he made the tag, it was a little a head-first slide, and he dropped the ball. So don't know if he was sent based on the reaction from the third base coach. Didn't get too much anger, so I'm not sure if he sent him or what, but regardless, it's a gift for Arkadelphia.
And if that's the case, then that may be 2 foul-ups on the third base coach for Valley View, because one, he sent the runner back to second. It ended up not being an issue, but that one right there could have been really big.
It would have been. He would have scored on that pass ball.
Yeah. Exactly right. Ball and no strikes now. Runner at first base with a very modest lead.
You could tell on that one, Donovan was falling off to the left when he was coming to the plate, trying trying to get his body, full body behind that breaking ball.
Turley now has run the count to 3-0. Certainly don't want to put Valley View runners on base. They have been very efficient when on base. Just a couple of foul ups, that last play being one. 3-0 pitch is a strike. Turley, the 8 hitter, sophomore, struck out twice looking. Really need this out right here. Certainly don't want to go back to the top of the lineup in this 5th inning if possible. The bottom has not been productive for Valley View. Off and running as a strike. And got him. Holy smokes. Nice throw down there from Zane Hill, and looked like, unless he popped up, he beat the throw, but not sure if he popped up. That was a little, I don't know, that was a little iffy.
A break for the
Big
Badgers.
break for Arkadelphia. There's that second out. Now you've got a 3-2 count on the 8-hole hitter. So now you've got Turley, who's not done anything but watch 2 strikeouts. And now the count is full again, and here's the 3-2, and he walks him. So,
well, what a throw by Zane Hill, the catch and tag from Ryan Harris. And he must have been one of those when you slide, his foot was either to the side of the bag or didn't touch it or something.
Well, we talk about this artificial surface, and one thing, we talked about the catchers. Balls are different. The ball comes at you different. Your feet, your placement of your feet as a catcher are different. The next thing that it affects probably the most is base running. And right there we saw it, that he probably, from the only way I could have seen he was out was he popped up or he let the slide carry him too far into the bag. So a runner at first base now. Turley draws a 2-out walk, and he's off and running. Another throw down from Hill. This one is not in time, and in face first is Turley. And Valley View, who seemed to be running themselves right out of the inning, is back with a runner in scoring position.
It's a good throw by Hill. The timing is just a little bit too high, too far up, or too high for Tot to be able to catch that one and get a tag down. So now another runner in scoring position for the Blazers.
Stotts has walked and struck out, so he's the 9-hole hitter. He is a senior, shortstop. His error back in the last inning was what started Arkadelphia's little bit of momentum that scored 3 runs. It was a shortstop. The sun got in his eyes, and he lost a fly ball. Little pat of the rosin bag. It is definitely a short sleeve afternoon here in Nashville. Inside, ball 2.
Yeah, good location. Just a little bit too high, I believe, on that fastball from Whitten.
Harris playing at his normal depth at second base. Shadowing the runner at shortstop is Goodrum. And there's strike 2. Swung on and missed. And Whitten just blew that one right by him.
Yeah, I thought that may be what he was going to on the 3-2 pitch on the previous batter. Went with the breaking ball. Wasn't close on that one. You'd like to see him maybe try to Throw a fastball and see if Stotts is able to catch up to it again.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1 runner at second base. Arkadelphia. Strike 3, tipped and held on to by Hill, and
or maybe go to the breaking ball and get him to go to that one. Nice job by Zane Hill of holding on to that foul tip.
So Arkadelphia does give up 1, but I think mission accomplished in a way, Chris, because we just didn't want to put another crooked number up there. And so Arkadelphia limits the damage to only 1 run, now down by 3, and a chance to possibly, if they can put another crooked number up, either go down by 1 or tie or take the lead. And Caldwell back out.
No, that's not Caldwell.
That's not Caldwell.
They've got a right-handed pitcher out now.
Right.
Looks like Caldwell will go to center field, his normal position. And thought Becker might be the next pitcher for Valley View, but looks like he's going back out to left field. And this is Watlington, isn't it, second base?
They've got those yellow
29.
numerals, those gold numerals on the front of that gray, and it is 29,
yeah,
and that is Watlington.
So Watlington comes to the mound from second base. We'll see who goes out to second base for the Blazers.
And Caldwell is in center field. Is that correct?
Caldwell is in center field.
And the center fielder was Becker, who's number 3.
He's gone to left.
All right, so Becker's going to go to left field.
Stotts has been at shortstop. See if he moves over to second base.
Turley was in left field.
Or maybe they 26 is the new one into the game. I bet he's just warming up from the third base spot so he can make a longer throw, but he'll end up going to second base.
So Arkadelphia has now run the Valley View pitcher out of the ball game. He had pitches left, but he also gave up runs in the last 2 innings, 2 and 3 in the fourth and fifth inning, or excuse me, the third and fourth inning. So we'll see if Arkadelphia can now.
Yeah, they also have a new first baseman in. I heard him say 5 for 14, which threw me off because 14 was not in the game previously. 14 had pinch run. So Cannon Jones, a senior first baseman, comes in to replace Cooper Lutz at first base in the Valley View lineup.
Okay. So we are to the point now, Chris, bottom of the 5th inning. We're over halfway through. Arkadelphia hanging in there, down 8-5 against the defending state champion, Valley View Blazers. And Wynn Pentecost will lead things off for Arkadelphia. And he hits the first pitch foul to the right side, and the first baseman is going to measure it up, and 1 pitch in and a foul out for Arkadelphia.
Well, first pitch, welcome to the game, first baseman. Able to make the catch on the first pitch from Watlington.
So here's Whitten. Whitten has a walk and struck out looking back in the third. And takes strike 1 on the outside. And that one looked a bit outside as well, but
looks like Watlington's last appearance was against Lone Oak in the regional.
And he just pumps in strike 2, so very efficient start for Watlington. Gets a foul out on his first pitch and follows it up with 2 strikes in a row to Whitten. See if he comes back in for a third. And he does, and Whitten pops it back out of play, foul. And he's coming right at Donovan.
Yep. Steady diet of fastballs. Haven't seen a breaking ball yet. See what he wants to go to ahead in the count 0-2. See if he climbs the stairs with a fastball or goes breaking ball. Goes breaking ball and just didn't get the call. That broke, but it may have been just a bit too far north in that zone before it broke, or when it crossed the plate.
Ball and 2 strikes now to the Arkadelphia pitcher. Strike 3. And again, just not seeing the ball very well. Second time he's gone down looking. And Johnson now, I would call that the top of the inning somewhat productive for Arkadelphia, but the bottom half needs to be as well. And so far they're 0 for 2. Tucker walked last inning. Outside, ball 1.
Good receive there by Ward, and just kind of snapped at it, didn't go down and cross his body, just kind of snapped at it and brought it back, trying to make that he made that a lot closer than it was.
Johnson going to put it in play, but foul down the left side. Kason Becker, who had been, he's been at third. I'm sorry, he has been at third. He does go up the ladder that time, gets Tucker to chase it for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes. Watlington has been very efficient here in the bottom of the 5th. Strike 3, looking. He flinched at it, but could not pull the trigger, and you just don't get much more efficient as a pitcher than that. 2 strikeouts looking and a pop foul, and the Badgers go very quietly here in the 5th. So Arkadelphia down to his last 6 outs and trailing by 3. We're going to take a break here from Nashville. You're listening to Badger Baseball on www.arkadelphiabadgertv.com.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Top of the 6th inning we go. 2 more to go for Arkadelphia. Trailing 8-5 against Valley View here in the state tournament in Nashville. Valley View, the defending state champions, 14-0 in conference, 27-6 on the year, and very good-looking baseball team. Arkadelphia has not given up yet. They won't give up. Arkadelphia is one of those teams that's not going to do anything but play harder down the stretch.
You know, back to the top of the order, Caldwell, the wind is blowing out to left center. He had the double to lead off the top of the 1st inning. If he gets one up in that air to left center field, really has a good chance of going over that 330 sign. But Donovan keep it low and try to get Caldwell out.
Woo. Strike 1, that one pumped in there pretty hard. Thing about Donovan, he's going to throw harder. The more competitive he gets, the harder he throws. It also can mean that the ball leaves off that bat a little faster as well. There's another, boy, that was a good-looking pitch. Apparently a little bit low in the zone. No argument from Witten. Caldwell did draw a walk his last time up in the 4th. And that one skips off the mitt of Hill.
Might
and
have caught a finger a little bit funny through that catcher's mitt.
You know, he's had 2 or 3 balls that have gotten away from Hill that normally don't, and you wonder if he might have a something going on with a sore hand. Two balls, 1 strike to Caldwell. Caldwell just a sophomore. Very good player, very good ball player. Mentioned earlier a commit to Ole Miss. There's a hot shot right at Tucker. He backhands it. A nice play over, unassisted, to put out Tucker Johnson at first base. Nice play by Tucker as takes 1 step towards second, backhands it. A couple of steps back to the bag, and the first of the 5th is out.
That was a good hot shot from Caldwell. Tucker did a nice job of smothering it. Going over to make the play. That first out's huge, especially when it's someone like Caldwell.
Becker now grounded out to the pitcher last time. Big first out for Arkadelphia. Ball is going to sail in just a bit. Once again, a little bit tough for Hill. We wonder if he's got a mitt problem or a hand problem or something going on, but not 100%. One ball, no strikes. Witten, the pitch, he fouls it back to the screen. Ball and strike. Ward on deck.
Blake, you think about it. I go back to what someone told me last week. I said, man, those were some ugly baseball games. And they were wins for Arkadelphia. They were ugly. You look on that board now, 8 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors for Farmington. 5 runs, 6 hits, 4 errors for Arkadelphia.
They're certainly filling up the scoreboard.
All 3 columns.
All 3 columns.
It was a good breaking ball from Donovan. Just started that one up too high and didn't give it a chance to break down back into the zone.
Arkadelphia really needs to put some crooked numbers up there on the bottom of that line score as well. Three and 1 now. Becker has a bunt single in the first. Popped up to the second baseman in the second and grounded to the pitcher in the 4th. Strike 2. Swing and a miss. Here's the 3-2. Inside and high, ball 4, and again a runner on base for Valley View. It's not the leadoff batter, but one nevertheless. And Lawson Ward, who's 2 for 3 today with RBIs in the 1st and 4th.
Yeah, we mentioned his last at bat. He's the catcher. You mentioned that last at bat that he is the one that got Valley View on the board early in the bottom of the 1st yesterday with a home run.
We'll see if the runner's off from first. He's getting a good lead. Tucker holding him on over there. There's a throwback from Witten. Back in, Becker goes head first into that artificial dirt, and he's off and running. Ball hits him, and so no stolen base, but hit by a pitch. And now 2 runners on. For Tyler Hoskins.
Courtesy runner for the catcher. Big spot here. You know, you had a smooth 5th inning. You're lucky to only give up 1, but you're running out of innings where you're lucky to only give up a run. You've got to throw a goose egg up. Ideally, if you get a tailor-made double play ground ball or a pop-up to keep the runners where they are with get the second out. But you gotta be able to get an out in this bat and the next.
Hoskins, the cleanup hitter. Runner stealing third, and the ball is thrown into left field by Hill, and so another run comes across for Valley View, and a runner now 90 feet away at third base. Another error that you just cannot have. And now it's a 4-run lead.
Valley View's been forcing the issue on the bases today. And you mentioned they've run themselves into a couple of outs, but those have been outweighed by the bases they've been able to get and the runs they've been able to score because of that. So
absolutely,
they'll trade over the course of a game. They'll trade some of those throw-outs for base runners thrown out for some of the plays like that.
No balls, 2 strikes now to Hoskins. There's a ball that's hit out into right field, sailing under his bab. He makes the catch, and he's going to throw. It's a nice, strong throw, but not in time. The runner had plenty of time to tag up as that one was hit just deep enough out into right field to score another run, and they've now doubled the Badgers up 10-5. So Watlington now will step up. No runners left on base. They've plated them all. And that's just what Valley View has done all day, Chris. They've just, like you said, they've had it backfire on them a couple of times, but more than not, they've gotten those runners home when it counted.
Scored in every scored in every inning but one. That was the second inning. Arkadelphia was lucky to hold Valley View to 1 run in the 5th inning. They've just been putting pressure on and advancing runners to the next base and been able to drive them home. That's all they needed on that one. It was medium depth, but it was far enough that the throw-in was not going to be able to be close. It was a good throw. It's just not going to be too far or too deep.
Two balls and a strike now. Arkadelphia will have 2 more innings to hit. They're going to need to get their money's worth out of both of them. There's a breaking pitch that does catch strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So we'll see if Whitten can come through here. He's at 2-2. To Watlington. And he spoils that pitch as he fouls it back to the net.
I believe Arkadelphia will have 8-9-1 coming up in the bottom of the 6th inning. Katie Young, Ryan Harris back to the top to take Goodrum.
Here's the 2-2. And it's going to find Tate Goodrum. He comes up, makes a hard throw across his body. He's not able to do it that time. It's very similar to a play a couple of innings ago, but Watlington is able to leg it out, and that one just got far enough into the hole where Tate couldn't make the strong enough throw. So a 2-out single by Watlington. And Lutz. Actually, it's not Lutz.
Yeah, this is Tice that came in the subbed-in defensive substitution. I'm sorry, Cannon Jones. Gavin Tice was the pinch runner in the top of the 5th. Gavin Jones came up in the bottom of the 5th to play first base, and he bats for the first time today here in the top of the 6th.
So his first time to see the batter's box. Outside, ball 1. Runner over at first base is bluffing on his first. On the first pitch, we'll see if he goes on the second. And he draws a balk. A little bit of
Yep, Donovan looked over to the dugout and just ate that one. Said, that was me. I mean, couldn't have been anybody else, but he
Yep. So runner at second base, ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 2. Ball 3. Taking his time, coming set. And there's a strike. 3 balls and a strike. Ball 4.
normal game, I think you'd probably be looking at making a pitching change. Now, obviously, you have to win the game to get to tomorrow, but I believe Donovan's already passed that 30 pitches mark, and then you burn a third one. There's so much to think about. I mean, if you don't get out of it, you're giving up more runs, and tomorrow's not going to matter anyway. So you got to get the bats going, but these are the things you don't have to think about in normal regular season baseball games that come to play in a regional or state tournament.
Yeah, they definitely do. And ball gets away from Hill again. The runners advance to second and third on the pass ball. Two balls, no strikes. Runners at second and third. There's a strike. Two balls, one strike. From the windup, here's the pitch, and it sails all the way to the backstop, and that one may be an out if he can get in time, and he does. Play is made. That ball caromed just enough off the backstop so that Hill could have an easier throw, and covering nicely was Witten. They get the runner going home, and once again, you know, you win some, you lose some if you're Valley View, but that could have been ugly.
That was ugly. I don't think there could have been it. That ball was thrown. I mean, Donovan lost that one. That got, 3 feet behind the batter. Thanks to the padding, it bounced right back. Zane was Johnny on the spot, did a nice job of getting to the ball, making the throw to Donovan and the tag. You nailed it when you said home and said this might be an out, and it was. Just like the rest of this game, not how you figured anything would go, not how you figured you'd get the third out, but regardless, that was a big one because you go 10-5 is big enough, 11-5 is even worse.
It is, and Arkadelphia now, and you start counting outs, has got 6 more to work with, and that is all, folks. And you know that Coach Lowe's going to have him outside the dugout. He did after that last out. He had him outside the dugout. You could tell that by his mannerisms that he's telling them this is it, guys. And, you know, we've talked all year about such a great group of seniors that Arkadelphia has this year, graduating 5. They'll graduate here in just a few days. But those are five seniors, not to mention the spattering of juniors in there as well that have played together since they were about 7 years old. And, you know, you've got 6 outs to beat the defending state champion. Things aren't looking good for you. You're down 10-5. This is where, as a senior, or as at least one of those upperclassmen, you pick a guy up like a Zane Hill or KD Young that's going to bat right now as a sophomore and say, hey, guys, you know, we're not ready to let go of the rope just yet.
So the only way you can do. You can't get all 5 runs at once. You've got to start by getting runners on base. KD can start the 6th inning off with a hit. Who knows? You string a few together. You still got 6 outs left, and you got to make up a lot of ground with that. But they've been a comeback team, but this is going to have to be one of their biggest comebacks of the season.
Against probably the best opponent they've seen all year. And with one pitch, it's right back to Watlington at the mound, and that was way too easy. It took us longer to set that up
than it did, yeah.
So speaking of seniors, here's one right here, Ryan Harris. Such an addition he's made this year, coming back after missing a year or two for concentrating on basketball. He mentioned in his senior day that his most memorable moment was just being welcomed back with such excitement by his teammates. And boy, he's made a nice addition to the team as well. Ball and strike now to Harris. Watlington is working quickly. Pumps in strike 2. It's Harris, and then back to the top of the lineup for Goodrum. Goodrum's 2 for 3 today. Pop up that's going to get foul but playable.
Yep.
And it is caught by the new substitute first baseman over there. That's 2 plays he's made in foul territory, and so now the Badgers down to 1 out here in the 6th. Or 1 out left in the 6th, 2 down.
There was that arm motion by the umpire. I couldn't tell if he was saying it was up or in. I guess that one had to be up.
I'm not real sure. The ball nonetheless. A hot shot to third base, backhanded, strong throw across, and scoop for the 3rd out. 5-3 goes the put out, and Arkadelphia will be down to their last inning. And Arkadelphia goes very, very quietly. This game started at 12:30, almost right on the nose, and we're heading towards 3 o'clock. So another long one for the Badgers. And I tell you, they've been quite the time travelers here as 3-hour games have become the norm for Arkadelphia.
Yeah, the last week in the regional, long games. But, you know, when you have so many innings with runs scored, you're going to have longer innings. And it's really, I don't remember that throughout the year. Obviously, we had some run rule games that were shortened, but I don't really remember that throughout the year until we got to that regional tournament. But last week, games were definitely long.
Well, and the only way that the Badgers are going to win is if we get this one to the 3-hour mark. So we'll just have to take it if that's what it takes, because it's going to take some 7th inning heroics for Arkadelphia to climb their way back into this one. Back out is Witten.
10 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors for Valley View, 5 runs, 6 hits, 5 errors for Arkadelphia on the board.
The difference, at least early on in the game, was that Valley View was putting runners on base and getting them around. Arkadelphia was leaving runners on. We know of 3 runs that were left on in the first 2 innings, and those are 2 that Arkadelphia did not score in. And other than that the bottom of the 6th, that was the last time the Badgers were held off the scoreboard. So Carter Salisbury was up last inning when the runner was thrown out trying to steal home. So he'll come back up.
7, 8, 9 in the order for the Blazers.
Arkadelphia almost gonna be forced to throw a scoreless inning here in the top of the 7th. And there's a pop-up that's going to get foul. It's going to land right on top of our press box here. Wind starting to pick up just a little bit, blowing out almost straight away center field. Arkadelphia still playing a little deep in left. Normal depth in right and center. There's a foul that's going to be tipped back to
good breaking
Hill.
Ball from Donovan there.
That one got a piece of Hill, and Hill has, if I'm not mistaken, Hill's caught every inning of varsity baseball this year. And things start to get a little painful this time of the year.
Yep.
You can tell he's had some bumps and bruises and maybe a sore catching hand. One ball, 2 strikes to Salisbury. Outside, ball 2. Smells like a day at the beach.
Well, there's a lot of sunscreen smell floating through the air.
Well, there is. Nowhere I'd rather be than a baseball game, including the beach. Three balls, 2 strikes. First batter of the inning, popped up, foul, out of play. Salisbury walked, doubled, drove in a run, reached on the fielder's choice, and just hit a base hit into center field. Campbell backhands it going to his left and relays it into Juice Harris for a single to start the top of the 7th. Robinson and Huntsville all ready to go here, and supposed to be starting here in about 2 minutes, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Coming in to run at first base, number 25, Drew Gardner. Gardner, the runner at first. Coming to the plate, number 26, Ryan Collins.
Runner at first base, nobody out. Badgers in the top of the 7th. And squares around, pulls the bat back. Ball 1. There's a strike. Once again, he offered to bunt, pulled the bat back, took strike one. Leadoff runner aboard with a single out into center field. He's at first base, getting a lead, drawing a throw from Witten back in.
Kind of quiet at the old ballpark this last inning and a half.
Yeah, it got a little bit quiet. There's a runner off from running from first base. The throw is going to pull Goodrum to the left of the bag, and another stolen base for the Blazers. Well, we wondered if we were going to be in for fire-breathing dragons or sport coats, and I believe the fire-breathing dragons is what the Badgers have run into today. Not over. Arkadelphia still needing 3 outs here in the inning and then having 3 more of their own in the bottom. But they need to put the brakes on here as they're now a runner at second base. Fouled away, out of play.
Got a little heads-up call to the Robinson team, more stretching down the outside the fence, down the first baseline.
One ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3. Looking, nice pitch, breaking pitch. Started in his around the numbers and disappeared into the strike zone for the first out of the inning. It's the third. The third strikeout looking at Turley. Turley struck out 3 times looking and walked. And so now Stotts, who struck out twice and walked, he is the 9-hole hitter. A little bit of a move there, back towards second. Witten. There's a pitch that is just outside. You have to believe that. I know Hill's getting tired back there, but when you lunge at that pitch like that, you're not going to get a call on the corner.
Yep.
You've got to stay your ground and turn that glove over once you make that, and that's just fatigue. And there's one that is called strike 1. Harris, the second baseman, is holding on the runner at second. And stepping off is Witten again. 1 out here, top of the 7th. We'll see if the runner tries to take third. Had a runner thrown out over there already today, and there's a bunt. It's going to get the runner to third. Tossing to first is Witten. So now we've got 2 outs, and the runner advances to third. And Slade Caldwell, the leadoff hitter,
I bet he doesn't bunt.
I bet he doesn't
What do you
either.
think?
Since the first inning, he's not done a lot. He popped up to or grounded out to the first baseman. He walked in the 4th, struck out in the 2nd. He did lead off the game with a double in the 1st. We'll see if he tries to go opposite field. The wind is blowing to center, left center. Strike one on the outside.
If you go there for the left-handed batter, there's not a whole lot they can do other than go opposite field with it.
Playing even with the bag at third is Pentecost. Getting a lead over is the runner at third for Valley View. Ball and a strike. 2 outs to the leadoff hitter for the Blazers. Here's the pitch in the dirt. In the carpet. The artificial dirt. The plastic dirt. (3-1). If you're Arkadelphia, you cannot afford to give up a run. Deep in the hole at second base is Juice Harris. Deep in the hole at short is Tate Goodrum. Back nearly to the real grass is Tucker Johnson. There's strike two. 3 balls, 2 strikes, full count. (3-2), walks him. So a 2-out walk has put runners now at the corners. And Becker, the batter.
Coming to the plate, Grayson Becker.
I mentioned the halftime score of the boys soccer game, but that was 4-0 Clarksville, and that's what the final score ended up being. So congratulations to the Badger soccer team on a great season. A win in yesterday's first round of the state tournament, but they run up against the conference champion from the 4A West and the Clarksville Panthers in the quarterfinal round, and their season comes to an end.
Runners at the corners. And here's the first pitch to Becker. Off and running is Caldwell. He's into second without a throw. So do you still need the oven mitt if you're artificial?
Oh, yeah.
Surface? I guess from getting rocks and burns, it's carpet burn, huh?
You slide that sucker on that hot turf right now.
Mm-hmm. Truly is an oven mitt. Ball taken low.
Eric Taylor from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette has made his way back to Wilson Park after going and covering softball. I bet he didn't think he'd get to cover the whole softball game and then get back and cover a good portion of the baseball game as well.
And piece of hitting right up the middle. It's going to score one. It's going to get a throw. Not going to get a throw home, but 2 runs come across for Valley View. And that's going to make things very tough on Arkadelphia. 12-5 now.
The batters and catcher, Lawson Lord.
And so we're going to get a visit from Coach Lowe. We'll see if that's going to be the day for Witten. Doesn't appear to be. Drew Lowe in his 5th year of Arkadelphia skipper. He's made the playoffs every year except for the COVID-shortened 2020 campaign, but this is the first year that the Badgers have collected postseason wins. And so not wanting to go away just yet.
Umpire Coach Lowe, I think, was going to let the umpire come out and make him walk off. And the umpire said, I got to get some water. I've been out here for 3.5 hours, it feels like. I gotta get some water. And
you guys take all the time you need.
I'll
be over here under the shed. Yeah, I'm going to get a hot dog. Well,
got a refrigeration truck out there.
Plugged up the refrigerated truck.
That would have been a fun place to broadcast from.
You know, they built this $1 million facility here, and yet have we had the privilege of sitting in this thing. We've been on the porch, which it is very nice.
Yeah,
it's a very nice. But I tell you, this is one of those days where you start kind of wanting to get a little bit of that AC. Taking second base is Becker. You know, when the
Robinson and Huntsville have been warming up for an hour and a half.
I know. Now the smell of sunscreen has been overtaken by the smell of diesel fuel from this truck that they've decided to park right by the ballpark and crank up.
Oh, here we go. Thank you.
And the runner's thrown out at third.
Coach is looking like, what are you doing?
So Arkadelphia gets out of the inning, but not before they give up another 2 runs. 12-5. We go to the bottom of the 7th. We're going to stay right here, folks. Arkadelphia, will they have 3 more outs to define the rest of the season, or will it go a little further? We'll find out here in just a few minutes. Badger's going to bring up 2, 3, 4. Babb, Campbell, Bell.
They got a new catcher, so it looks like the catcher may be Lawson Ward, may be going to the mound for Valley View.
Yep.
Looks like Salisbury has moved to catcher.
So the right-handed throwing catcher, Lawson Ward, who is another sophomore. Valley View got a lot of sophomores.
Caldwell, the starting pitcher, was a sophomore. Starting catcher is a sophomore.
Turley, the left fielder, is a sophomore. Becker, who plays third base, is a sophomore. And a lot of playing time for these sophomores as well.
Their best pitcher that started game 1, Crecilius, is a sophomore. Salisbury's a junior. He'll be back.
Yep. Hoskins, the DH, is a junior. He'll be back.
And Hoskins was a pitcher last year before he had to have surgery in offseason. I believe I saw where he is starting to throw again. Maybe, you know, don't know if he's available to throw, but he was rehabbing injury, so it's another arm that Valley View will have in 2023.
Badger's going to need to bat a while here in the 7th.
Badger's going to need this to be a 4-hour game.
They are going to need that. They are the home team. They do get the last bat. Will this be it? Winner of this game goes on to play Shiloh Christian tomorrow at noon. Huntsville and Joe T. Robinson playing right after this one. And then the nightcap is Pulaski Academy and
Harrison.
Bruins and Goblins.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Bruins, Goblins, Eagles, Senators, Blazers, and Saints will be left in this one.
Well, the Badgers are 18-4, 14-0 in conference. Will this be the end of the season for Arkadelphia? We'll find out. Carter Babb's going to lead things off for the Badgers. Carter has reached on an error back in the fourth.
I believe they counted that as one of the hits. It got lost in the sun, and they didn't get a glove on it. And he had that hit in the first inning.
Ball 2. Badgers need base runners. That's, you know, that's the word and the message that they gave. Coach Lowe gave his first 3 up here. They're not going to be able to do it with just the 3. It's going to take more than that. So Carter looks at strike 1. 2 balls and a strike. Babb hitting .328. He has walked 10 times. 22 hits and 25 runs scored. Swing and a miss, and big cut. Very productive junior year for Carter. He'll be back next year as a senior for the Badgers. Strike 3.
Oh, man.
Got him looking. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one to take.
Campbell now started on the mound for Arkadelphia. See if he can extend the game a little bit. Fouled back out of play. Here's the 0-1. High, ball 1. Fouled back, ball and 2 strikes. One out here in the bottom of the 7th. Badgers trailing 12-5. Skipped in there for ball 2. Lawson Ward, the sophomore pitcher for Valley View, has played the rest of the game at catcher today. Now getting a chance. And there's a ball that's going to be hit to the second baseman. Now it's going to get away. Trying to throw it to first base, not in time, and going down to second on the throwing error is Trip Campbell. So Badgers stay alive here in the bottom of the 7th.
Almost had the 3-4-1 put out, but the throw from the second baseman was wide of Ward, and that allowed Trip Campbell, who didn't break stride, to get to second base.
So 1 out now and a runner aboard for the Badgers. That's Campbell at second base. Badgers need a whole lot more than that. JB's going to bat. He's 1 for 3 today. Skips in for ball 1. Nobody holding the runner on at second. Bell takes ball 2. Pentecost waits on deck. There's the 2-0. And it's shot right to the first baseman, and he doubles up at second, and that's the ball game. Tough way to end it. Badgers finish the year 18-5. 3-1 in postseason. That one is the one. That is the one that matters the most right now. In Arkadelphia, a group of 5 seniors had a heck of a season. Arkadelphia finishes with an undefeated mark in conference play, go through undefeated in regional play, and run into a buzzsaw here in the second round as they fall to the defending state champion, Valley View Blazers, 12-5 in the state tournament. And so that's the way the Badger season will end. The Badger baseballers, the Badger soccer players, both ending today. Very good seasons for both those group of young men, and we certainly will look forward to next year as Arkadelphia losing 5 seniors, but a lot coming back. Not losing a lot pitching. Most of your pitching will be back, so a lot to make up for, but Badgers will be back next year. Chris, it's been fun.
It's been fun. It was need to just give a shout out to those 5 seniors again: Tate Goodrum, Ryan Harris, Wynn Pentecost, Jarrett Bell, Tucker Johnson. Great year in their senior season. It's one they'll never forget. And congratulations to them and good luck to them in the future as they graduate next Saturday from Arkadelphia High School.
Well, so for myself, Blake Bell, and Chris Babb, we bid you farewell not only today but for the rest of the year. This has been quite a pleasure broadcasting Badger baseball. We'll see you guys again next year in 2023. So long, everyone.